Hey guys, so this is Sam from Spectral Seekers, and today I was going to be talking to you about my first experiences with the paranormal and what got me into this. So I'm 23 years old, I'm from Leeds, I live in the UK, but originally I used to live in Dublin. That's where most of my family comes from, but we moved over here because of a job that my dad was offered. So I've always been a bit of a skeptic about the paranormal. My mentality was I wasn't a believer until I had to have some sort of experience myself. I mean, I thought all the videos and photos and everything that I'd seen were quite compelling, and a few people I know had experiences before. Like my dad, he used to tell me about an experience when he was a security officer at the Point in Dublin, which is like their arena for like concerts and sports shows and stuff. He would always tell me about this elevator that used to go down on its own and come back up, and on the cameras you would be able to see it like going up and down all night. It wasn't an electrical problem, as they said. It was well known that there was something there. You would be able to hear footsteps going down the hallway. So my dad was a firm believer, and he always used to tell me that, and I'd never believe him because I'd never had an experience like that myself. This all changed, however, when I was 20 years old. I was visiting Ireland with my mum and my dad. We hadn't my mum and my sister, sorry, my dad wasn't there, he was working. But we decided to go over to see family, and both my grandparents, they sadly passed away a couple of years after each other. They owned a house just outside of Dublin, a lovely little house. Basically, my family kept that once they passed away because it was such a nice house, and there was like all these memories that everyone had, and no one sort of really needed to pay much on it. It was all paid off, and it's just there. One night we'd been out all day. We'd been at my cousin's. We'd been to this pub with my uncles and my aunties and my cousins and everyone like that. We got back quite late. Now, my mum and my sister, they went to bed pretty much straight away because they were tired. We got back at about 11. I decided I was going to stay up and just watch some TV and just stay on my phone and, chat to my friends and stuff. It got to about 1 a.m. I got tired and got a little bit bored because there was nothing on. So I decided to just sort of make my way upstairs. So I was clearing everything out, and I got to the hallway. From the bottom of the stairs against the wall, I could see what was like a blue light. That wasn't there before. Like, I'd been out to get, out into the hallway to grab a drink, some food and stuff, but I'd not noticed that there because it was quite dark. I remember it was like just dark, but there was something lighting up the top of the stairs. I got rid of all my stuff, and I kind of like shrugged it off because I just thought, it'd be my sister or my mum, just like they've left the door open or something, or just something like that. I didn't think much of it. I got to the kitchen, got rid of all my stuff, went back up the stairs, and it was still there, the light, so I was a bit concerned. I noticed it sort of came from the bathroom. Now, the bathroom was next door to the actual, like, the room with, like, the shower and the bathroom. When I say the bathroom, I mean the toilet. We had a separate room for the toilet at my grandma's house. It was coming from there. Now, like, when you go up my stairs, they're curved. So as I was going up these stairs, I couldn't see exactly what was the source of the light. So when I came around the corner, it was gone. Like, there was no light. So when I came up to the top of the stairs, I was genuinely terrified. I was so scared. I didn't know what it was. It wasn't like any of the doors were open or anything, so the window, like moonlight or like car lights weren't there. There wasn't anything to cause this light. Like briefly I thought, well, it must have been my sister going to the toilet or something, but no, there was no footsteps. I couldn't hear her. So it was very, very peculiar. When I got there, I turned on the light in the bathroom just to make sure that it wasn't the light, and I was just lucidly like dreaming, but consciously. It wasn't the light. The light was like a dingy sort of yellow colour, like it had been aged, and it hadn't been changed for a while, so there was dust on it and stuff. It definitely couldn't have been that light because it was blue, and it was terrifying. I genuinely was so scared because I've never had an experience like that, and I was very skeptical until this. I went to bed anyway, and it took me a while to get to sleep, I will admit, but I eventually went to sleep. And I woke up the next day, and my mum was downstairs making breakfast. So I went down. My sister came down as well shortly after me. I mentioned it because I wanted someone to tell me, that was me who left the light on or something, and I turned it off. No, they were all fast asleep at that time. So I'd not even had no explanation whatsoever for it. After I said this, my mum looked at me and she was quite shocked because she had a similar, well, not a similar experience, but she had an experience in this house a couple of years before when my grandma had died. When my grandma died, I couldn't make it over here because I was busy with, I think it was my A-levels or something like that. When I was about 18, I was just sort of finishing them off, and my sister was doing her GCSEs. So we couldn't actually really sort of take time out to come for it. I mean, they did give us the option to, but anyway, I'm off track. We couldn't come over, so my mum came over on her own, and because of my dad's job, he couldn't make it over either, which, is sad. But what happened anyway with my mum is she was sat in the living room where I'd been sat about 2 nights after my grandma had passed away. She was sat there and she was on her own. There was a couple of other members of family in the house, but they were all upstairs in bed. Very clearly she heard her name being called by a voice, and she had no explanation for it. There was nothing, no one up at the time, and she said it sounded exactly like my grandma. After she told me that, I was a firm believer that it's either my grandma or my granddad, because they both passed away in the house. They didn't actually pass away in the hospital. They died before they got there. I think it's them still sort of present in that house. I've only ever been back once after, and I never experienced anything again, but I'm always on the lookout when I'm there. And it really was, it was scary, but looking back on it now, I don't think it's scary. I think it's quite nice. That was my first ever paranormal experience. So what I want you to do is I want you to subscribe to my YouTube channel. I want you to go and like the little Facebook page and my Twitter page, and just go to my blog every now and again and just check out what's happening with the channel and stuff. We might be doing more stuff like this. I'll be giving like personal experiences, talking to other people about their personal experiences. We could even do EVP recording sessions. There's so much we can do with this channel, and I'm looking forward to the future of it. So if you could just like everything and keep up to date with what we're doing, I'm sure you won't be disappointed. But yeah, I thought we'd just try something new out today because it's just wanted to vary it up. We've got the Spectral Seekers episode coming soon, and that should be a good one. That should be a doozy, and I hope you'll enjoy that one. So yeah, just stay subscribed and stay safe, stay vigilant, keep seeking, and I'll see you guys later.